Welcome back for today's video. And the topic for today is we're going to be comparing and counting numbers using positive and negative numbers. Now, what I decided to do was try to show how negative numbers are used in a more practical sense in an everyday occurrence. So I decided to use temperature to show how negative numbers are used, and then also stick with the idea of comparing and numbering them and putting them in the proper order. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at some examples now. Now, before I start with the demonstration video here, I just thought I'd go over a couple of vocabulary words. And the two words that we're going to be using in context today are order, which is an arrangement of objects or numbers. For example, the order of the numbers 2, 5, 8, and 11 shows a rule of +3. So I'm just showing you an example of how to put them in the correct order. The other vocabulary word we're going to use is compare. That's to note similarities and differences. And as I said earlier, I said we're going to use the thermometer to show how to compare and order numbers and how to use them both in positive and negative. So as you can see here, we can compare the two temperatures as 15 degrees Celsius is warmer than -5 degrees Celsius, and -5 degrees Celsius is colder than 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so I'm going to show several examples of temperature like that with positive and negative, just because I feel it would be more practical to show how negative numbers are used in an everyday occurrence here. So that's what I'm going to do today with today's video. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first example. And as you can see, I've got these two thermometers here, and we're just going to see how that shows that there's warmer and colder, and more importantly, like I said, both positive and negative here. Okay, so we can compare the two temperatures as 15 degrees Celsius is warmer than -5 degrees Celsius, and -5 degrees Celsius is colder than 15 degrees Celsius. So as you can, this is what I wanted just to show you in a more practical sense, since temperature is something that we use all the time, especially if you're in a cold place, then yeah, I feel it's better to show negative numbers like that. Okay, and again, temperatures above 0 degrees Celsius are warmer than temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius, and as you can see here, that's very obvious. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at another example here. We're just going to identify the temperatures here for letters A, B, C, and D and see what they read. So for letter A, that temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. Letter B, that temperature is 3 degrees Celsius. Letter C is in the negative. As you can see, there's 0. So now we're going down below it, which puts us in the negative, which you would do all the time, especially, like I said, if you live in a cold place. So the temperature there is -3 degrees Celsius. And then the one right behind me, and I apologize for my head blocking the -15 degrees, but as you can see with the other three examples, that it's all the same. So that temperature, which you can see clearly, is -12 degrees Celsius. All right, so let's take a look at another example now. And here, I'm just asking you which temperature in each pair is colder. Now the pair is the two temperatures shown for A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, so for the letter A, we're going to show that the colder one is -3 degrees Celsius. The colder temperature for letter B will be -4 degrees Celsius. The temperature for letter C will be 0 degrees Celsius. The temperature for letter D will be -2 degrees Celsius, and the temperature for letter E will also be -12 degrees Celsius. So for this example, it's going to ask you to use the greater than or less than symbols to show what you find out about comparing the temperatures in question 2. So I put question 2 problems up again to help answer this, okay? So if we're looking at letter A, what do we know about letter A? Well, we know that 3 degrees Celsius is warmer than -3 degrees. For letter B, we know that -3 degrees Celsius is warmer than -4 degrees Celsius. Well, actually, the way you would read this is -4 degrees Celsius is colder than -3 degrees Celsius. For letter C, again, we know that 0 degrees Celsius is colder than 12 degrees Celsius. For letter D, we know that 16 degrees Celsius is warmer than -2 degrees Celsius. And letter E, we know that, again, -2 degrees Celsius is actually warmer than -12 degrees Celsius, because as I said, -2 is closer to 0. Okay. So for this part, I just want you to answer whether each statement is true or false. So for letter A, and I put the answers below here. So for letter A, we know it's false, that 8,324 is less than 8,342. For letter B, we know that that is also false, that 3,240 is greater than 999. For letter C, we know that that's true, that 3,240 is equal to 324 tens. For letter D, we also know that that's true, that 12,049 is greater than 12,039. For letter E, we know that 17,600 is not equal to 16700, so it's false. 17,600 is greater than 167 hundredths. And for letter F is also false, that 19,945 is greater than 19,899. So for this activity here, we just want to put these in order from smallest to largest, okay? So for saving time on the video, I'm just going to show you letter A, B, and C and not mention what each individual number is. So here's letter A, and as you can see, we're going from the smallest and moving our way up to the largest. Letter B, same thing. We're going from the smallest and moving our way up to the largest. And also for letter C as well. So we're moving it from the smallest to the largest, okay? So here's the bonus activity. And again, I've got a couple of examples up here. We're comparing and ordering numbers using both positive and negative numbers. Okay, let's take a closer look at number 1 here. You're just going to use 4 or 5 of these digits here to make up the correct less than or greater than statement. So you see these numbers here, these are the ones you're going to use for A, B, C, and D and make the statement true, whether it's less than or greater than, as shown in the symbols in the middle. Just put the numbers in the correct order to make that statement true. Okay, so there's a lot of answers, but that's okay. And you can use these numbers over and over again, so you don't have to use them once or twice. You can use them, well, you can use them every time as long as the statement is true. So for number 2, we've got, for letter A, it says, write the correct temperature for each city in the table. So we've got Toronto, Berlin, Dublin, Wellington, and Oslo here in both the table and in the temperature, and they just want you to label the correct temperature for that city. For letter B, you're going to use pairs of temperatures to complete each statement. So again, you choose the temperatures to make each statement true that's showing warmer or colder. Just make sure that the numbers are correctly placed in the right spot. Okay, so those are the bonus activities I'm giving you. And as always, I'll leave an answer key up for you in the description down below so you can check out how you did on this activity. So that's it for today's video. And again, I just wanted to give you some examples of comparing and ordering numbers using both positive and negative numbers in a more realistic, practical sense, such as temperature. So I hope you enjoyed the video and you found it beneficial. And as always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. And I look forward to seeing you for my next video.